welcome back. As you can see, we're with the old dinosaur, the BMW K1 today. We are taking it down to Honda Dobles in Causden because we're going to go and test ride the Suzuki GSX8S. Obviously we test rode the Honda Hornet CB750 the other day, and the Suzuki is the direct competitor, or one of the direct competitors to that bike. So I thought while they had one in stock, we would go and take it for a bit of a jaunt. If you saw the video I did on the K1 on Monday, you'll notice I've had a couple of issues. The main one being with the ABS, which is a real faff. So we think we have to change the ABS switch there, which, yes, is rather annoying. But it did its first longest test ride the other day, and I did about 120 miles. And in which time the bike ran like an absolute dream. So yeah, we had an issue with the fuel gauge as well. But the fuel gauge, Frank had a bit of a mess in there, a bit of a mess around in the tank to move the sender, and it seems to have done the job. So hopefully we don't have to take all the tank apart and get the sender out again and bend it so it fits in this little groove. I think it may have just sorted itself out with a bit of a tug from Frank. So that's good news. What was the other issue? Oh yeah, the 12 volt socket. I think that might be my DIN charger piece that's actually given up more than the bike. So I've ordered a new DIN socket, and I'm hoping that's going to do the job. But who knows? So we're going to keep an eye on that fuel gauge today, make sure that goes down. So we're not going to put any fuel in it until it gets into the red. Then I know it's all working fantastically well. So yes, let's get off to Dobles. I'm excited to test drive the GSX8S, just to see how it does compare to the Honda Hornet. But we'll worry about that when we get down there. So guys, I shall see you at Doble. We're down in the nosebleeds today. Quite a few bikes out, but my ABS issue has not gone away. Which it isn't going to, but you know, we live in hope, don't we? Think, oh, maybe it's just having a little bit of a fit and whatever else, but no, it's not. But it rode beautifully, so there you go. And the fuel gauge seems to be working, so it's not all bad. Right, let's go and find that Suzuki GSX8S. And we have the Suzuki GSX8S. First impressions, well, it looks a little bit bigger than the Hornet CB750. I think we need a larger rear number plate bracket. I mean, that's how tidy if ever I've seen one. That is absolutely enormous, and it's built like a proverbial brick house. As you can see, quick shifter, but we'll go through all that sort of stuff. You know, I like to get off and have a proper look around. I like to jump on the bike and give it a ride first before I give any real opinions. But the weather, well, actually, over there looks okay, so we'll probably head towards that route, as the Americans would say, or route, as we would say in the UK. Oh, all aboard. So it feels a little bit bigger than the CB750. Throttle is very light, and the clutch is a little bit jumpy actually. First impression, wow. This feels like it wants to just sit upright. It feels like it doesn't really want to turn actually. My first impression. Okay, maybe that's just getting used to it type thing. Oh wow, yes. It's got a lot more lower end grunt than the CB, where the CB750 Hornet had a lot of mid-range. This is all down low, and I like that. I like that a lot. Oh wow. Almost feels a little bit Supermoto-esque with its power delivery. Oh, the rain has come. That's frustrating. Yeah, so we have traction control, ABS and all that sort of stuff. We don't have phone connectivity and all that, so it's quite a basic bike, but we do have a quick shifter, and you know I like a quick shifter, so it'd be very interesting to compare that to Honda's rather fantastic quick shifter. I'm always going on about how good those are. The brakes are not as good as the Honda, which is a little bit disappointing. Let's try the quick shift. Oh, the quick shift's pretty decent. The quick shift is pretty darn good. Oh, the low down grunt is incredible. I love it. It is a few ponies down on the CB750. Not much, but does have a little bit more torque, but also has a bit more weight. But we're going to get into the weeds and the details of that when we pull over and have a good walk around. Again, a rather firm seat. Not quite as firm as Honda's, but there's a little bit more space on board this bike as well compared to the Honda CB750 Hornet. There's a bit more space to wiggle your derriere. Well, we're going to do the usual. We're going to take it on the motorway and all that. I think we know how it's going to perform a naked bike like this. I think we know it's not going to be fantastic, but for the sake of completeness, this is why we do these things. So we're going to take basically the same route as the Hornet as well. We're not going to do every road the same, but we're going to stick to the basic ones that we did, just so we've got a fair comparison. Doesn't quite dive as much as the CB750 does as well, so yeah, that's another little bit of a plus point. The brakes are really not as good as the Hornets. There is no doubt about that. Again, I haven't watched any other reviews on YouTube or anything. I like to have my own, make my own decision on these things. So what you hear is my exact thoughts and not somebody else's. It filters nice and easily. Clutch is a little bit grabby. That's probably a lot down to it just wants to go. That low down torque really does want to. The bike just wants to go, which is nice. It reminds me a little bit of a mild Buell XB12. It feels a little bit like that, but a lot smoother. But seating position is good. The back brake's good. Yeah, front brake's lacking a little bit of feel. Throttle response isn't quite as sharp as I would like. It seems to be the tiniest of tiny lag. I'm really nitpicking now. But it feels like the centre of gravity on this bike feels quite high. That's what it feels like to me. It seems to want to sit up. Tell you what, I'm blown away by that low down torque. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Whereas the Hornet, you know, it came up to play, you know, mid-range, where this is really all down bottom low, and I love it, like, especially the sort of riding I've just been doing. Like, motorway wise, I don't seem to be getting as battered as much as I was on the Hornet. I mean, that could just be due to conditions, and I don't think it is as windy today as it was the other day, so there's not a great deal in it. It's not a deal breaker either way, but it feels pretty stable considering we've got no screen there at all. All we've got there is a screen sort of diverting any wind. Oh wow, fantastic, brilliant. It doesn't feel like it wants to lean like the CB does. I must be honest, I did feel a little bit more confident on the CB750 when it comes to handling. As I say, that was the 2025 updated version of the Hornet CB750. So if you haven't seen that video, please check it out now. I only did it about, not even a week ago, a few days ago. Yes, it is comfortable on the motorway. Maybe a smidge more comfortable than the Honda Hornet. Talking about not seeing reviews, I did see someone write something about this GSX8S doing very well in group tests and stuff like that against obviously all of its peers, but you know, the Triumph, Trident and the Honda CB and whatever else, but you're only going to get my opinion and what I think about it, you know. Oh, torque monster. I bet this is an absolute wheelie king. Not that we're going to find out, but there's no way it can't be. So it's got the Suzuki drive mode selector, so you can change sort of road modes, which we'll be playing about with shortly. And you can change the level of traction control as well. I like this TFT screen, it's simple. I like that. It's not too big either. Everything's beginning to look like an iPad. But this is just nice and basic and tells you everything you need to know. Switch gear as well feels pretty well made. As you can see, you've got your mode select here. So yeah, it's just a simple bike which I think quite a few people in this segment will appreciate. So Motorway, completed it, mate. Let's go and do some rubbish back roads now. See if we can unsettle the Suzuki GSX8S. I actually think these mirrors are give you a little bit more view as well than they do on the Honda. So we'll find some nice back roads and we'll pull over and do a little bit of a walkie round. We like a walkie round. It's very comfortable. The pegs feel a little bit lower as well on this bike, which I like. Maybe the bars are a smidge bit, I don't know, probably about the same. I think it's too much to call on that, to be honest. But yeah, the pegs feel lower, definitely feel lower. It's quite a firm bike. So's the Honda. Yeah, I don't think the camera's picking it up, but these roads are dreadful down here. And it really is very compliant over all these horrible bumps. It really is set up rather well. Yes, I can attest to its comfort. I'll be honest, it does feel very different to the Honda. If you've ridden Hondas and you know Hondas, then you'll be very familiar with the Honda CB750 straight away, which is what people like. It's very easy to ride that bike and very easy to ride quickly. The gearbox is a lot firmer as well. Coming down the gears, you can feel there's a tiny bit more effort needed to come down. It feels very firm, it doesn't feel sloppy at all. It just likes to be manhandled a little bit more. I can definitely see the appeal of these though. I want to pull over somewhere and give you some statistics. Let's have a little pull over up here, shall we? And have a good old rabbit, have a good old chin wag about the bike. Here the Suzuki GSX8S is in all her glory. And in my opinion, I think this is the best colour combo, especially with those blue wheels. Reminds me a little bit of the Katana actually, the newer version of the Katana. So, I do quite like that front end actually. I can see how some wouldn't, but I do like that. It gives a bit of a Street Fighter-esque look about it, which we like. So, 776cc parallel twin. 270-degree crank, so that's why it's sort of compared so closely with the CB750 Hornets. So this has got 81.8 horsepower and 78 newton meters of torque, whereas the Hornet has 91 horsepower and 75 newton meters. So a little bit down on the torque, but the weight difference between the two. This is 202 kilos, so it's about 12 kilograms heavier than the Hornet, so yeah, it sort of robs Peter to pay Paul a bit with that. But oh, the low down torque is just fantastic. It really is. I just love the way the bike's been mapped. The throttle I found a little bit snatchy if I'm being really fussy, but oh, the low down grunt I was very pleased with. And I really like the quick shifter as well, which this comes as standard with a quick shifter. And also what I like about this bike is it has a 180 rear tyre, where the Hornet has a 160, so it just looks beefy. Yeah, the absolute biggest number plate bracket you've ever seen in your life. I mean, that probably adds about 40 kilos. Right, and we've got a proper metal tank on this as well, which is nice. A little tonky tonk. So yeah, really big fan of the quick shifter, something I really do like. It is quite quiet, but that's nothing an exhaust end pipe wouldn't sort out, that's for sure. So it's got a 14 litre tank, and it does about 67 mpg. You know, you can't moan, that's not too bad. I think it's a little bit down on the Honda, but not by much. So it has traction control, we've gone through all that sort of stuff, and different rider modes as well, but we'll go through that when we're on the bike as well. I think it's probably the best thing we can do with that. But yeah, new TFT screen and all that good stuff, which is a little, I think it's about a similar size to the Honda. Honda's is 5-inch, I think that's about the same. So seat height 810mm, and on the Hornet 795. So if you're a little bit shorter in the leg, I don't think it's going to make a huge amount of difference, but that gives you the sort of stats on that anyway. So it's got the Suzuki drive mode selector just there, give you the different modes, and obviously traction control, which you can sort of change for your own settings. But there are different packs, different parts you can add, heated grips, etc. I did look at the heated grips yesterday, actually. It's £357 for heated grips, which I thought was a little bit on the steep side, to be honest. Especially when you can get a comfort pack from Honda for around about 380 quid, which gives you the heated grips and soft luggage and all that sort of stuff. But you'd have to really sort of look into it to sort of see about fitting costs and stuff like that, where the differences really do match. But yeah, I think Honda sort of give you a bit more value for money when it comes to the extras, and also when it comes to the price of the bike. This bike new is 8,299, so £8,300. And the Hornet is 7,449. So yeah, you know, good sort of 900 quid difference. You know, nearly as good as it's a chunk of change when we're talking this sort of value bikes. I love the colour of these wheels. So yeah, these forks are non-adjustable. You can, and the rear shock as well is non-adjustable, but you can adjust for preload settings if you've got luggage or someone on the bike. Just the fit and finish is really, really good. That's something I am really impressed with this bike. The fit and finish of everything is just superior. I love the subframe, absolutely love that, especially in that sort of like a Miami blue colour, isn't it? Yeah, the seat is comfortable. There's definitely more space on this bike than there is on the Honda CB. So yeah, that's a bit of a walk around, guys. Won't bore you too much. I always like to give you just the absolute important facts. But yeah, the fit and finish is pretty sublime, to be honest. So that's one thing that you can really sort of be impressed with this bike. But is it nearly £1,000 better than the Hornet? We're gonna have to find out, aren't we? Considering we did some good miles on the Hornet the other day. So yeah, we can really give a good, honest opinion on these two bikes. I must say, I prefer the low down grunt of this bike, but it's a little bit snatchy, where the Honda is what you would think a Honda would be. Super easy, and really easy to ride fast, where this in my opinion takes a little bit more concentration and a little bit more focus than the Hornet did. I felt at home, but maybe that's just me being a Honda fanboy as it is, that, you know, I felt straight at home on the Honda straight away. And not so much with this, but we've barely done any miles, so let's jump back on the bike. Okay guys, let's take a bit of a look at the modes on here. Oh, we like the little Suzuki brand name coming up there. That key seems to stick out about a quarter of a mile, seems to be a bit weird. So here we are, we've got traction control settings, which we can just change 3, 2, 1 or off. So yes, 1 being the least amount of TC, 2, 3 being the most. Then we have Suzuki drive mode selector. At the moment it's in A, which is its sharpest throttle response, but we can change that to B or C. So basically, if you wanted to see if, you know, it's hammering it down with rain and you don't want the instant throttle response, and B if you just want it a little bit smoother, and A if you want to go, yeah, full nutcase mode, which is what we've been doing. So what we do is we'll put it in the B mode for now. Traction control set on to 3, that's fine. We can keep that on. It's dry on the roads anyway, so I don't think we're going to be needing it too much, but always good to have, isn't it? So obviously we've got ABS as well, but yeah, we haven't laden with you know, with phone connectivity or anything like that, so which is a bit of a down point. It does look good, doesn't it? It looks exciting. You've got to give it that. It's an exciting looking bike. Alright, let's try it in B mode. Let's try the B mode. And quick shift, quick shift, quick shift, quick shift. Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's a good quick shifter. I'm not as confident with the brakes as I am with a Honda, I'll be honest. Just come down the gears in the quick shift. Yeah, the throttle response does feel a lot smoother. It was very sharp on A, very sharp. I think for around these sort of roads you'd want to keep it on B. Or if you want to have a real play around, then yes, A is where you need to be. Right, we're changing to C mode now. See how C, the gentlest of throttle responses. Again, it feels slightly less than B, but not a massive step. Not as big as it feels from A to B, that's for sure. But yeah, there definitely is a noticeable difference. Yeah, it's a little bit slack in C, but yeah, if it's raining or anything, then that's probably your best bet. Yeah, I wouldn't really fancy an A mode when it's hammering it down. You'll be very tentative with the throttle. Back to B. Oh yeah, that's more like it. And let's do A anyway, just for the sake of completeness. Yes. Just quite angry in A actually. So yeah, these mode settings are definitely worth having, because you have some bikes where you go through the modes and you're like, oh, that didn't really do much. Especially when you have different mode settings on bikes with sort of, you know, 50 horsepower and less. To be honest, it's pretty pointless in my opinion. It's nice just to have normal, you know, and rain really. If on a bike like that, you know, if it's just a commuter, I don't think you need a load of different modes. Right, we're going to come down with a quick shift style. Oh, nice bit of engine braking. Yeah, it doesn't have as much tech as the Honda. Quick shift, quick shift. I'm getting used to the handling more now as well. As I say, it feels like the centre of gravity is higher on this bike. This is nice, isn't it? Oh, another graveyard. You're second of the video. We're going to go across there and do these little country-esque roads. Quick shift. Quick shift. I like the quick shifter. They're getting so good now, quick shifters. Years ago they used to be a little bit crap, but not anymore. I don't think it's picking it up on camera, but these are quite bumpy roads. Even though it's firm, it doesn't just throw you about everywhere, which is good. It's got a good balance. But as I say, you know, it's a one and done. It's been set up and that's it. It's preload adjustment and that's it. So, oh, I do like it. So what are the standout features for me over the Honda? It's definitely that low down grunt, or as I said before, the Honda's is more all about the mid-range. So I do like that about this bike. Oh, let's not disturb the horses. If we're all downhill here, I will look at that eco mode. Eco mode, horsey friendly mode. Let's not spook the horses. No problem. Look at this. It's very frugal in this mode. Right, yeah, so as I was saying, yes, I like the low down grunt of this bike. I also think it's styled a little bit more. I think it appeals probably to younger people more than probably what the Honda does. It does have a whiff of JD Sports Trainer about it though, with those graphics. So yeah, I'm not a major fan of the graphics, but I quite like the style in the bike. As I say, I like the newer Katana, and I like obviously the old Katana. But yeah, it reminds me a little bit of that. I love the way I just love the way the fit and finish. It's really put together really well. I love the subframe and the paint matching the wheels, and yeah, I just think it's a great colour scheme as well. Quick shifter's great, no issues with that, and I quite like that. It's just a basic bike. There isn't loads of gadgets and gizmos. It's quite a simpleton. Cute. And yeah, the suspension's really compliant. I like that. You're taking us down there, are you? Okie doke. Look at this for crap roads. Wowzers. Lucky we've got traction control on 3, eh? Yeah, so those are things I like. What don't I like? In my opinion, and I know this is, I've heard it has done well in tests, but I think the Hornet is just easier to ride, and I think I could ride that point A to point B quicker than this. The brakes are better on the Hornet as well. It's cheaper. The Hornet does have a little bit more power, not as much torque, but it's also a little bit lighter. I like the seating position on the Hornet as well, where the pegs on this are better and are lower, where they're a little bit higher on the Honda, and this has a little bit more space on the seats than it does on the Honda. And yeah, it's a little bit higher seat, so if you are a little bit shorter in the leg, then the Hornet may be better for you, but it's much of a muchness. Yes, I way prefer the brakes on the Hornet. And obviously there's that price difference of a good 900 plus quid, and then there's the extras as well, seem quite expensive from Suzuki. And now Honda, you get a 6-year warranty. So if I was choosing, where would I put my money? You know what? It would be with the Honda. I like this, I do like this. So if you have bought one, you haven't bought a rubbish bike by any stretch. It's a fantastic bike. I just think I prefer the Honda a little bit, just because if I was getting this sort of bike, I'd then really be thinking of user friendliness, is what I'd be thinking. I thought they were geese then, but they were sacks. Is she going to see me? They don't see you, do they? Loud pipes save lives. Yeah, I just find the Honda a little bit easier, and I just feel like it handles a bit better. I mean, I haven't gone on, I've not had it all day or gone on long sweeping roads, but it just feels a little bit top heavy to me. Wow, we've got diversions everywhere. Well, it's a great bike, but can you warrant that extra bit of on the old price tag of nearly 900 plus quid? I mean, it's a lot of money, isn't it, in this segment? This bike does feel bigger, so if you want that sort of bigger bike, more feel, then this will give it to you better than the Honda will. The Honda are doing 6-year warranties. It's just like, that for me alone is a bit of a deal breaker, because I just take the bike and get it serviced, get a stamp in the book, see you next year. Any problems, take it straight back. Whereas, you get a couple of years warranty, as you do with most manufacturers on this bike. It's so well put together, it really is. But I mean, today the whole point was a comparison with the Honda CB750. But years ago I wouldn't have said that Suzukis were particularly well screwed together, but they certainly are nowadays. Let's give it a quick shifting in. Especially around these Sunday roads you'll be coming along it. It's comfortable, and as I say, it's a bit more roomy, so if you are a bigger guy, then this might be better suited to you, but you really need to ride both. But yeah, for me, its real USP is the way it delivers its power. Yes, it is slightly down on the Honda, but it's up on the torque, but it is up on the weight. But I just like that low end grunt. And in mode B, it's quite a bit more docile. Yeah, mode A is a little bit, yeah, a little bit nutty. The day is definitely brightened up. Long bank holiday weekend, so I'm sure loads of you are out on your bikes. Please put in the comments where you're going this weekend on your bike and what bike you will be taking. I'd be very interested to know. So yeah, please put that down in the comments. And also in the comments, have a look on doble.co.uk. Have a look at their new bikes, have a look at their used bikes, and see what you'd like me to test ride next. Because yeah, this was a request by one of my subscribers, wanted me to ride the Suzuki GSX8S, so we have done, and we've done a direct comparison against the Honda CB, which I hope, if you haven't seen that video, please go and have a watch now. It's doing quite well on YouTube. So yes, we are looking for that big 1,000 subscribers, and we're getting there, guys. And as soon as we get there, I'm going to be doing a long extended ride on a Honda Goldwing. We're probably going to take it up to the Cotswolds or something like that for a couple of days, and we're going to do a bit of an extended video with plenty more B-roll and all that good stuff, and really put the new Goldwing to its for its paces. So if you want to see that, then please like and subscribe. Back in A, here we are. A. See, she's like on the twisties here. I feel like I have to lug it a little bit more, but it does handle lovely. But it feels a little bit more effort's needed. It's that extra bit of weight. It is a bigger bike. But I'm a sucker for adding lightness. That's a big thing for me. Adding by subtraction. That's what we like. I know things are getting bigger and heavier all the time, but I'm a big fan of, you know, super lightweight cars. I've had Caterhams in the past, and obviously aerials and all that sort of stuff. I just like lightness. I like not anything to be inhibited by its weight, which is probably why I prefer the Honda. Well, you might as well summarise. I think if you're after something a little bit more hooligan-esque, then I think you prefer the Suzuki. But if you want just a better all-rounder and an easier bike to live with, then it's got to be the Hornet, especially as it's cheaper. You get the 6-year warranty as well. For me, I just find the Hornet was just easier to throw about, and yeah, as I say, I prefer the way the torque is delivered on this bike and the way this is mapped. But yeah, for me, I would, and it's not just because I'm a Honda fanboy either, I just genuinely think the Hornet is an easier bike to live with. And if I was buying a bike like this, then that would be important. If I was buying a, you know, a full out crazy sports bike, then I want it as mental as possible. I don't care about anything else apart from it being an absolute loon, where this is, you know, still be your commuter, or it could still be your daily bike. So yeah, for me, I'm going to be a little bit straight down the line there and be a Honda CB750 for me. But I really appreciate you watching, guys. I'll see you on the next video, and yes, if you could like and subscribe, that would go a very long way. Thank you very much.